big up the Toxic Show. No bust up to all dirty girl. Them can't wash plate, can't cook, can't even don't even know how to spell crutches. Wait now.
Hey, Gordon. Bump what they want, give them what they need. That's toxic reality, baby. Being a happily married wife of 17 years, I can honestly say I adore and need my man. And more women of today's society need to be reassured it's okay and perfectly healthy to proclaim the same. So keep that content coming.
I saw your show, and it looks really, really interesting. I'm really excited to hear what you have to say. I don't really know everything about what the term toxic reality is. Are you going to talk about that in the show?
For Well, here we are once again for another exciting show, Toxic Reality Show. Tune in, and I thank you for tuning in. Tonight, you can't make this up. We have Samantha Lee, ex-wife of Tyrese Gibson, the singer, the Coca-Cola kid, right? You know, R&B hit maker. Sang the song Sweet Lady. That Tyrese, right? And y'all have seen him in the media. He's been going through it. You know, there was a video with, him literally going live in tears. It was just destroying the man. Wanting to be there for his child. Going through just recently child support court where the judge ordered him to pay Samantha's attorneys $400,000. Ordered him initially to pay $10,000 a month. He was paying a little over $2,000. And I don't have all my notes. Apparently the judge raised it up to $20,000 per month. And that going forward has now, he was found in contempt. The judge ordered him to pay over $200,000 in restitution because he was paying, again, something just over $2,000. Instead of the $10,000, now it's apparently $20,000, or the request has been made. Now, what's interesting about this is I've seen videos of Samantha. She apparently is a red pill podcaster. Speaks really, strongly regarding women being traditional. She seems to be a devout Christian, loves quoting the Bible and going to the Bible for references. Yet, synonymous with modern women, she's the one who initiated divorce. And apparently went to college, I believe, in an interview, stated that she went to college in Georgia. And I believe is a therapist. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that, and she has clients. Now, what is interesting, recently, she was on a podcast, a show, and I want to shout them out. It's called Hardly Initiated. Hardly, initiated, INITIATED. Hardlyinitiated.com. You can also find them on YouTube. It's a almost 2.5 hour interview with her. I thought it was fair. There's some more pressing questions that I think could have been asked, but they went in a little. Not deeply, I think more so for understanding. I'm not going to play the entire 2 hours of the video. Instead, and don't mind me, I'm trying to pull up other screens so that I can see any kind of comments that are being made. So she went in on this show, I guess more so to speak of herself. Now, a couple things that I want to put out there as a disclaimer, okay? And don't mind me, there's multiple screens going on here. I'll come back to join in with you guys in a moment. But I want to issue a warning. Samantha is a very, very attractive, beautiful woman. Let's put it out there. The only reason why I don't give her a 10 is because she's not a virgin. She's a 9. And I know everybody has their ranking system. Our fallen brother Kevin Samuels had his. But I believe 10 should be reserved for extremely beautiful, fresh out the face, beautiful women who are also virgins. If we're going to place a hierarchy and a priority and a desirability on being a virgin going into a relationship, we need to honor and give that term its due respect. You can't be a 10 and not a virgin, but a virgin who is a 10 is what? So, if we're going to do 1 to 10 and not include 7, fresh face out of the shower, she's gorgeous. Again, I've seen some of her podcasts, and I was shocked. I was today's years old when I found out that it's the same woman who is very critical of women. And to see that this is the same person, the same red pillar, and this is again why I've made a video, and I'll go into more detail of why we can't take women in the manosphere seriously. Because many of them are here for podcasting to get the clicks, to get the revenues. They know they're beautiful, so men are going to pay attention just because of their looks alone. So because of that, I'm giving you a warning before I play the video for those of you who have not seen her before, to say this. I want you to judge her as if she was an unattractive, obese woman. How about this? Okay? I want you to give her the same look, the same shine as a woman that looks like this. Right? Because here's what happens. And I don't want to take away from the gentleman that interviewed her, but I think when you get caught up with an attractive woman that you're interviewing, you lose sight. And remember what they did. She destroyed her home. She dang near wrecked the man. The man was on tears, just busting out crying. And she's a therapist? You know he needs help. The man is, as with most men, we marry for love, women marry for opportunity, and hope they fall in love later. And then they get angry and upset at the moment and destroy the family. Now, again, I invite you to watch the whole thing on Hardly Initiated. It's a good interview, and there's some positive insight, but also recognize there's been some name calling, especially from Tyrese. He's called her a narcissist, a gaslighter. She is a therapist, so she knows all the issues to touch upon. So we have to, whether she's being genuine or not, given her therapy background, she could be acting, right? But even if I invite you that if she looked like any one of these women, I want you to give her the same judgment if it was one of these women. So with that, I want to go into the first. I have 5 clips from Hardly Initiated that I think are very compelling. I'd invite you. Let's go ahead and make sure our volume is correct. I'm still. Yeah, we're good. So let's go with it.
Because I would never tell. I work with women. I would never tell a woman to walk through that in the same frame of mind I was in when I did it.
And when you say that, but what frame of mind was that? What do you mean by that in particular?
I was very, very hurt. I was very angry. And
so understand what she just said. And you know what? I'm going to take a glass of wine on this one, because what she just said, right? That when she filed for divorce, she was angry, right? It was her wrath. Now, mind you, this is a woman who's a speaker of the manosphere. Got over 100,000 subscribers, all of that, right? Y'all are linking her and following her because she's a beautiful woman. Look what she did to her own home. Look what she did to her family.
I remember, when I made, the decision, I was, hysterically crying on the phone.
Okay. Another thing that these women love to use is crying. You're going to hear this word repeatedly used by her, where she keeps saying, I was crying. So because I'm crying. See, this is a universal language with women. Some old philosophers have said, be careful of a woman's tears because they're about to wreak havoc on you. But for her, she keeps repeatedly talking about, I was crying, I was distraught, as if because she wants, what do we do innately as men? We see a beautiful woman, we want to rescue her. Oh, she's crying? Definitely want to rescue her. I was crying. So that's how we need to start treating that. And what does that have to do with anything? Right? So here we go.
With my attorney. That was not
Wow.
the person I...
Now here you go. Here's the woman of God who says that she was in tears. Right? And who did she choose to voice her concerns to? Did she go to her pastor? No. She didn't go to her pastor. She was crying with her attorney.
I remember, when I made, the decision, I was, hysterically crying on the phone with my attorney. That was not the person I should have been on the phone with when, like, that's a whole nother conversation. But anyway, I was hysterically crying. And
Okay, we know.
I was not in any position to make that decision.
But you did.
I was extremely emotionally intoxicated. We can be intoxicated with our emotions. And I'm very much emotionally led. I feel very strongly. I'm just that kind of person, very passionate.
Okay. Two things to notice. When someone looks down to the left, they're telling the truth. When they look up to the right, they're lying. She just looked up to the right.
But I would never tell
She's looking up to the
somebody
right.
to make that decision when they're that emotional. But of course I wasn't talking to someone that genuinely would be for marriage.
It's amazing that you knew. You're talking to a car salesman about wanting to buy a car and surprised. If the car salesman wants you to buy a car, he doesn't want you to walk away and say, I changed my mind. They want to close the deal. You're talking to your attorney. What exactly do you expect the attorney to say? Oh, Miss Lee, I suggest you go, spend more time with a counselor. No, you're emotional. You were like, F this. I'm done with him. I want a divorce. Keep the same energy that you spoke to the attorney with when you were an emotional wreck and decided to destroy a home.
Or for reconciliation. And that's not no slight to my,
No, it's
the current friends.
See, these brothers, I appreciate them getting the show, but allow her to say the word. She won't even say that the person who she was speaking to was the attorney. You're in there rescuing her. Let her say it. Let her own it. Let her be accountable.
Yeah, it has nothing. There's no slight to that. Not the friends.
And she still does a slight to that. The attorney.
So it was something that was being said to me that hurt me at that time, and that so at that time when I was on the phone and I made that decision, I was livid. I was emotional. I was hysterical. And so if anything, if I could take anything from that and advise somebody else, because I don't want families to be torn apart.
Yeah.
It would be that if you're that hurt and you're like that emotional about someone, that's not a lack of love. Like the opposite of love is not hate. It's indifference. It's void of love, void of feelings. And so if I'm that emotional and I'm that hurt and I'm like on that level where I'm just like, I can't stop thinking and I'm just obsessing over why I am hurt. If it's misguided and misdirected, it can go in a bad direction. And so I think that with that being said, I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
And I made a decision like, well, I'm so angry. I'm so hurt. And, this is, and I'm just like, forget it, like, never mind. Like, I need to be done with this. This is horrible. Just ruminating on all the negative things and not focused on any of the positive things. I posted a reel, and I mean this. I really mean this. There was a guy who was talking about
Okay, so this brother here, the shirt wide open, trying to be sexy for her. Notice her body language is directed towards him. He's sitting on her right. The brother on the left ain't cutting her no slack, right? Except for jumping in to save her with the attorney word. This one is trying to be the enabler. The other dude is like, we're going to get this interview done, but I'm going to ask. But he's the one who gives her the stinger questions.
Before he decided to marry his wife, he had said or had told
Pay attention to body language.
That he needed to choose the people that would speak to her in her most emotional moments. And it was people that would be for the relationship.
Right.
And I know a lot of people had different kind of like comments about the person and everything like that. But the message of what he was saying for me resounds true because the people I had in my ear at the time were not for that.
That is a very important point. You see, when you're discussing this, first of all, the attorney is biased. They want that money. Oh, you suing Tyrese? That attorney just got, she picked 3 attorneys. If she truly regrets and laments the decision that she's made, call it off. Return the money. Go work it out with your husband. Simple. You're a Christian woman, right? But you made all of these decisions when I made the decision and I was in a place. Why didn't you get down and pray? Why didn't you go ahead and communicate with the Lord and see what the Lord had to say about that? About forgiveness. No, you went straight for it. I'm calling the attorney, and I'm surrounding myself with people who will support that. And you called an attorney, and you knew exactly what they were going to tell you. You didn't call your pastor where you got marriage counseling from. No, you didn't call that. You didn't grab your husband by his hands and say, we need to come into agreement over this marriage. We need to hold hands, and where 2 or 3 shall agree, it shall come to pass. I'm going to pray over my marriage. You didn't do that. You went straight modern woman. So, again, as we go, and that was clip number 1. We're going to hit clip number 2 now. And I want you to pay attention to the body language. Looking to the left is telling the truth. Looking to the left, I'm recalling memory. Looking to the right, I'm creating. Sometimes could be a lie, or you might embellish. Look down to the left, I'm telling the truth. I'm recalling my memory bank. I'm tuning in. Her body position is to the guy on her side, right? She ain't giving the body language to him. It's to this guy who's giving softballs, who wants to rescue.
Jay-Z said this. He's like, nobody wins when the family feuds.
Yeah.
Nobody wins. It's not a situation where somebody is a winner. But you basically, when you get lawyers involved, and there was a therapist that was speaking to both me and him, a marital therapist at the time, that when I told him my decision, he was like, when you get lawyers involved, it gets ugly. He told me that.
True.
And, I didn't even realize.
Gentlemen, let me tell you something. When it comes to lawyers, when y'all are at the point of you got legal involved, it's war. Now, even my own attorney said to me, he said, look, if I do this, don't tell me to pull back. Don't tell me, I just want to take it easy. We don't have to, this is the mother of my child. Nah, because the women have no sympathy. They want to bury and bleed you. So understand, you can't be in the same house, in the same foxhole when you at war with somebody. This is war. And the longer you stay there, she's picking your brain for more information to figure out what else can I find out, where the body's at, where the bank account's at, where's there anything else I don't know about that's hidden, that's not good. Oh no, I just want to be peaceful with this breakup because, we have a child together, so there's no need for us to hold secrets. Then you get up in court, got him. You got to beware of them eyes looking at you and the beauty of a woman. Because when she draws that line and says divorce, it's war.
Guys, I don't think I even realized how ugly it would get. Man.
Use a lie. You just brought in 3 attorneys and had that man pay $400,000, not to your kid's school fund, not to a trust fund, no, to the lawyers, $400,000, just to the attorneys. You talking about, no, I didn't know how ugly it'd get. You took it there. You didn't just say, I want a divorce. You went for blood, and you made him pay your legal fees, and you chose to leave.
And like I said, if I could walk back in time, sometimes I battle with myself about that. But
you can walk back in time. You get on your knees, good, wholesome Christian woman, and cry on that man's feet like the woman cried on Jesus's feet and dried her tears off with her hair. You're a Christian woman. You can go do it. Baby, this is not the way I wanted it. We need to be a family unit for our daughter. I care more about my relationship with God and what oath that I took to him and my daughter than to do this to our family. That chapter is closed. The new chapter of this book starts today. I'm humbly at your knees begging you to give me a second chance. Now, Tyrese, your answer should be no. She's already had a taste of the forbidden fruit. She knows everything. And once you can make the decision to say, F the kid, F him and everything he's built, how can you trust that again? She coming in for the kill. Oh, you still alive? Oh, you got a couple more acting gigs? All right, let me get some more money and do it again. They've done it once. Now she's a repeat offender. She is a home wrecker, and it didn't take another woman to make it happen. It took her. She made the decision on her own.
At that time, I thought I was doing the right thing or the best thing. You know, I didn't know how ugly it could get. And I know a lot of women, we make that decision and we're so hurt and angry. And then 5-6 months later, you're not that angry anymore.
You son of a bitch. 5-6 months later, I'm not that angry anymore? You just wrecked this man's life. I'm not. So you made a life decision. Mind you, she was raised in a single parent household. Her mom, if mom is anywhere as pretty as she is, I'm sure a dude ran up there to try to go ahead and marry the wife and bag that, right? If the mom is even close to that, right? So some dude signed up to be stepdad because he wanted mom. So that's why you got a dad in your life. Then why couldn't your mother go back to your father and keep the family together? It wasn't that important. See that, you can't even just say anymore, don't date single women or marry them. You can't date women who are a product of single women. Gordon, you were raised by a single mom. This should apply to you. No, we're here discussing and having these conversations to realize where the problem lies. Modern women aren't willing to do that. And here she is making money off of brothers, being a red pillar to school us. She can't school jack.
Like, this kind of like still care about him. I kind of still have these feelings for him now that I've had time has passed and I'm not in his face every day. I've now had the space to like forgive and open myself up to that. But now
it took her 5 to 6 months. What's up, Nikki and Stretch? Yo, it took her 5 to 6 months to cool down to realize I screwed up my family. I fudged up everything. And I she's going to say, if you go again to Hardly Initiated, she's going to say in the interview that, once the lawyers are involved, it can't stop. That's a lie. You could stop it immediately. Like, look, I don't want to do this anymore. Call off the divorce. I need to go work things out with my husband. I need to work things out with my wife. Let's call it. Let's stop. The lawyers will stop, especially when that check stops. You already paid the retainer. You are the decision maker. You could call it off. You chose not to. You were like, nah, bleed him because I'm angry. And you destroyed your family with a 2-year-old little girl. She even says in the interview about, my daughter hasn't had enough time to be there around seeing both of us together. You ever see them dang videos online where they show 2 puppies that are 6-month-old that have been separated and they're reunited 4 years later and they jump up and they're hugging each other? Dogs that only spent 6 months together remember each other 4 years later. And you trying to tell me that your 2-year-old daughter, a human, don't remember the bond and the linkage with the father? You did the time. She may not even consciously know it, but subconsciously, she remembers laying on her daddy's chest. Remembers daddy playing with her, spending time with her. That was her first love. And for what her mother did, her first love left the house, and she don't know what happened, but he disappeared. You raising that girl in that. You're raising your daughter to be just like you, ma'am. In the video, okay, I keep looking to it, to Hardly Initiated, she says she's a runner, but she's healed of that trait now. So anytime it gets tough, she's ready to run. And she warns men to beware of women who were like her, who were runners. So how do we find out if she's a runner or not? You got to create a fake environment. I kind of thought when you say I do, and your family is witnesses and God as well, that we kind of over the running thing. No?
Now you made an irreparable hole.
Yeah.
You did.
Because you didn't have the ability to step back and understand that if I'm this hurt and I'm crying, I'm this upset and this.
There she go talking about that crying. Look at this brother. He's like, this mug. You know what? You destroyed that. Shout out to you, brother. I know you like, I ain't cutting her no slack. You just sitting there like, you killing me.
At this high level of emotionality, this is not me being done with the relationship. This is me still in the relationship, needing to work this out with this person.
Yeah.
Because I like, instead of saying, well, this person hurt me so bad, so I just got to go. Like, that's not, that's inaccurate.
Y'all hold on.
So this is good
One
counsel.
second.
So you're pretty much saying, A, before you make a decision, insulate yourself with a community that's going to give you a balanced perspective.
A balanced perspective.
That's
correct.
going to be advocate of your own self-care,
Sure.
as well as that can speak for your partner
Yes.
in a healthy way.
Yes.
And also make sure you're in a stable emotional state where you're not at a high, erratic place of emotion
Yeah.
when you're making a life, family altering decision.
All right, there we go. So my apologies. We back. I give the brother a lot of smoke for his comment, right? But the truth is, he's saying something profound to her. I'm gonna run it back, because as much as he speaks that lingo, he's trying to give her your emotional space and where you're there. He also says, like, look, you made, and he's trying to be slick. He is doing it, right? He's trying to speak her language. And he's saying, you made an emotional decision, and the consequence of that decision, is severe. And she even said, yeah, I dug a hole so deep. But, I mean, sister, you a Christian, right? I mean.
Before you make a decision, insulate yourself with a community that's going to give you a balanced perspective.
A balanced perspective.
Okay. Yeah, a balanced perspective. Okay. She went to the lawyer. What'd you expect the car salesman to say? Of course, their job is to make sure you come home with a car. You went to your girlfriends. You know who to call. Listen, we know who to call when we want someone to go along with our decision, right? You know who to call. You know who to call who's going to tell you otherwise, right? You can't. In her example, you can't even go to your mother because your mother left your father and found another man, because she's going to say there's plenty of other men, baby. But this is a different generation now. You see, she's a 9, right? And and I'm gonna go back to the image, because we need to keep it in careful respect
of your own self-care,
Sure.
as well as that can speak for your partner
Yes.
in a healthy way.
Yes.
This is who we talking about, right? Let's make sure we keep it in perspective. Stop with the looking at it because she's pretty. If either one of these women did this, we would drag them. You know what I'm saying? Nikki and Stretch, what's up, Nick Nice? I see you. I got the screen cut in half. But imagine it was one of these two. So we got to keep it in perspective, right? So when they do grimy stuff, we know who we're talking about, and we got to apply the same level of respect, if you will.
And also make sure you're in a stable emotional state where you're not at a high, erratic place of emotion
Yeah.
when you're making a life, family altering decision.
I'm telling you, that is the biggest mistake. That's the biggest regret I have.
You hear that? She said that was her biggest regret. And I hope women do see this part of, it's easy to get lost in that 2.5 hours. There's so much. And she's looking at him. He trying to be all cute with his shirt open when I trying to hope he can get a little bit of Samantha Lee. I ain't gonna be mad at you, brother. She's a single mom. I hope you ain't dreaming in her eyes too much, thinking you want to marry her. She will wreck you too. And right now she's getting $10,000-$20,000 just to sit with her feet up in the air, talking about she's dating. She clearing almost $240,000 a year, and poor Tyrese is paying for private school with his money. He paying for health care with his money, and she still get $240,000 a year to do nothing. So anything she does with her therapy is gravy on top of that. This court system is disgusting. What do you need for a child with $20,000 a month? What? $5,000 a week? For what? If you're a woman of God, you should even recognize, look, this is ridiculous. I don't need no man, I'm strong. But they ain't gonna say that. They're gonna take your money. And she gonna say, it's not about the money. Then sister, if it's not about the money, stop taking the money. But you won't do that, will you? Because it's about the money.
I currently have.
And you given a distinction that when you contact the attorney, that's pretty much when it all truly starts.
It's war.
She said it. It's war. It's war. Next clip. This one's only 1 minute and 49 seconds, brother. I hope you paying attention.
I don't know if it wasn't when I left. I wanted certain things, and he decided that he did not want to do those things.
Okay, this 1 minute and 49 second. I'm gonna run it back because this was probably the shortest, but one of the most powerful exchanges that she did to demonstrate the masculine mind of the modern woman. You're going to hear her say that she made some requirements. Now, mind you, she's a Christian woman, Bible toting. She got all the quotes and blah, blah, blah. Except the one, it's funny, they all know the one except being submitting to your husband. You're supposed to submit to your man, and he's supposed to submit to you like Jesus submit to the church. Submit to God. Right? They don't remember that verse. Right? That a man would rather sleep on a roof, on the corner of a roof, than deal with an angry woman. Right? She don't remember that. But she makes a request of Tyrese, allegedly, and he was like, being the man of the house, the leadership, the principal, was like, we ain't doing that. So if you are a traditional woman, a traditional wife, okay, well, my husband has made the decision. That's how it goes. I made my request. He said no. It's his leadership and direction, his purpose. I'm on his program because I ain't singing no R&B songs. I'm laid up in this big-ass mansion. I got all of these things that I want. My child is well provided for, and I have a husband who's home who loves me dearly. He said no one time, or a couple times, right?
I don't know if it wasn't when I left. I wanted certain things, and he decided that he did not want to do those things.
Okay.
And I felt like at that point, if you wanting certain.
You see, but this is where she knows, in her supposed manosphere mind, her I'm a traditional woman mind, that she's messing up right now. If you're not willing to do those things, wait, who's the man in the relationship?
Certain things for me and sacrifices for me, and then when I ask or finally ask for something, and you're like no. Well, then at that point, like, you're giving me no other choice.
You have a choice, my dear. Your choice was to submit to your husband. Now, I don't know what the request was, but she's saying she gave up her career. Here's your husband, a multimillionaire doing movies, Fast and Furious. He's an R&B singer, all of these things. He just wants you. I don't know, Tyrese. I don't know what the conversation or the question was. I would probably guess he just wanted a wife. I'm not concerned about your career. I'll make the money. You just need to sit home and mind the children. Maybe they have another one. And he wanted a complete home. Your job was just and solely to be the woman of the home, to be a mother. And you probably wanted to, well, I got this degree, so I want to, and I'm speculating, and he probably was like, you don't need to work. We got a home. That's plenty of work here. Being a mom, maybe even homeschool, right?
You know, you're not.
Nick Nice, she was getting 90%. It's the 80-20 rule, right? She was getting 6 foot, 6 figures, bald-headed chocolate brother. He ain't fat. You getting everything you want. But he said no to, what sacrifice did you make? Did you ask him to stop singing and acting? That's what makes the money. I can't stop that. He asked you to be a wife. He didn't need your career, didn't care about your career because he's the provider. Right? And now you want his money so you can go ahead and be a leech, a parasite onto his program to still take advantage of his money earning potential under the guise of I'm strong and independent and you have your little career. As opposed to just sitting back. Sweetheart, you're going to hit a wall inevitably. And then you were going to be sold on the short list of Dragon Balls in 20 years. And everybody who didn't hit say, oh, let me see a picture of you when you was bad at 30, 40 years old. Ooh-wee. They're going to smash based on how you used to look and keep it moving. Them looks last but so long. At 40, 45, you can get a 25-year-old girl better than you without a kid or baggage. Gentlemen, pay attention to this child support nonsense with these modern women, because here she is with her own podcast talking about women, how to be good, how to be submissive and traditional to men. And here, look what she did.
Like really leaving room for me to, do something else. It's like, nah, they ain't gonna do what you want. So it was like, okay, well.
Yeah, we ain't gonna do what you want. He's a man of the house. Where's the conflict? You say that you want a leader. You want a leader, a provider, a spiritual guider. He made the call. You came to him. He said no. It's done. Oh, we still gotta have communication? Would you do that with your boss? It's funny if you would treat your husband like you would treat your boss, and if he said, nah, you're not gonna hang that flag in the office. Nah, you ain't gonna leave early every day. No, you're not gonna wear that. That's inappropriate. No, you can't post that on social media. You'd shut up, you'd do it. No, I need you to go pick up stuff tomorrow and be at work by 8:30. We have a client coming in town, and you would do it. Well, if you're not going to make the meeting, it's going to affect, you're going to have to do a performance write-up. You're going to figure out a way to make the meeting. It's funny what you'll do for your boss that you won't do for your husband.
What do I do? I either change my perception of it. And if I've changed in my perception and done as much as I can to my perception.
Did you just see that? She looked up to the right. She said, do as much as I can. Let's run it back. I want you to see that. She goes and looks up to the right when she says she did as much as she can. She's lying.
Change in my perception and done as much as I can to my perception of what's going on.
Right when she said done as much as I can, she looked up.
And then, there's 3 ways a situation changes. So let me just say that. Like in relational theory, there's a 3 model, triangular model, situation, you and the person that you're in a relationship with. Either you change, the relationship changes, or the other person changes.
Now that's a lie. She said either the relationship changes, You change or the other person changes. No, sister, there's one more option. You submit. You wouldn't even entertain that option. I hope y'all are listening. There's 4 options. You submit to your husband. This is a Christian woman who does podcasts on being a traditional woman. She said the relationship changes, I change, or the other person changes. And if he don't change, I'm going to change the relationship. I'm going to go nuclear. That's what she said. This is compelling, gentlemen, because she will not even, never mind submit, she won't even say the word.
Situation, you and the person that you're in a relationship with. Either you change, relationship changes, or the other person changes. Only 3 ways that a relationship can change. So if I've changed and I can't control another person, so I keep trying to change my perception or change my behavior or change something about me so I can receive this other person. If I've come to a place where I've exhausted all that I can do to make this situation occur or work or be functional or healthy, then the only other option I have is for the relationship to change. Because
that's narcissism. It is all about her. You heard anything about the child? She didn't even include the family in the triangle. It's all about her, man. The old Jamaican song, pretty looks isn't all. We gotta stop focused on these home wreckers, these modern women, and not marry them and exercise our options with our passport. Because when you take money out of it, where they can't siphon and bleed you of your funds with the court, they all of a sudden real willing to negotiate and have a conversation. Please don't leave. We need to keep the house together. I love you. That's because they know they got the money. When they got the money, they bigger than themselves. I did it all by myself. I earned it. What'd you earn? You sing any of them songs? You do any Pepsi videos? Sweet lady, you wrote that? Nah. Listen.
The person has decided not to.
She said he's decided that he's not to.
How have you saw that it affects the children? Or is there a way? Because what I want to figure out is how to mitigate the effects as much as possible, right? So just personally though, how have you seen that personally affect your child in any way in particular?
Good question.
Yeah. I mean, there's no real, y'all are coming at me today. I'm like, oh God.
No, they ain't coming at you like I would, sweetheart. Oh no. No, I would have come in much harder on you.
I know, Sam.
Y'all got me crying on this daggone thing.
Here we go again with the mention of crying, right? She knows, look, man, women know if I cry, I'm going to get the sympathy of the men, and men are going to rescue me, or they're going to back off. All I got to do is cry. Did you cry when you made the idea, when you were talking with your attorney? Did you sit down, ma'am, with your daughter while she was sleeping and say, the best decision for you, little one, is for me to destroy our family? Did you say that while your daughter was sleeping? I don't think you did.
Yeah, I mean, I filed when she was when she was about 2, and so I mean, she hasn't really known like us together.
Okay.
And
Use a lie. Again, the example I gave you with 2 puppies separated months after knowing each other, and when reunited, all of a sudden they recognize and remember everything about that person or that other dog. She may not in her conscious, but her subconscious knows the touch, the smell, the heartbeat of her daddy.
her now that she's,
Yeah.
she's never really seen in her memory and being able to speak and walk and talk and like cognitively her processing. She doesn't, I don't think we've been more apart than we've been together in her life. She's 5 now.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Modern women will do anything to justify and take the heat off the fact that you screwed up your home and your daughter. Because I guarantee you it would be better for your daughter with a father in the home than not. But your happiness and your anger, your seething anger, just destroyed everything.
I don't think she has any like recollection of like us together. I would say that it's affected me more, her not having,
Because it's about you.
her father like
make
in
this
the
up.
house like that. It's affected me more seeing her used to something I didn't want her to get used to.
Here we go.
Didn't want her to get used. You know, I was raised in a divorce home, and it was a high conflict divorce,
Save me. Rescue me.
and I didn't want that for her.
I didn't want it.
So I think it's harder for me
It's hard.
because I made the decision. You know, I made that decision, and gosh,
Take your time.
Take your time. Here you go. Rescue her. Let her go. Let her burn.
you know, at the end of the day, like, I don't think people understand.
Now, now listen. This woman, understand, all beautiful. Y'all need to see her without makeup on because she's still beautiful without makeup. But she's caked on. She got the fake eyelashes, all of that, right? I want you to watch. She starts to cry, no tears come out. Makeup is dry, eyelashes, no running. This is an act. And watch, dude on the left, or somebody is going to hand her a napkin across the table for her to dry her tears. She don't dry nothing. It's an act. Tyrese was right.
Like how, like when you see a child, like, and she has a father, and I have a really great relationship with my dad. I have a great relationship with my stepdad. I have great relationships with the men in my life. And,
Look at this.
you know, I
Paper towel.
always wanted for her to have that relationship, and she does. Her father loves her. You know, we've been able to go to like everything that's ever needed, like for her, like medically and things like that. If he needs to show up to a doctor's appointment, he'll go, things like that.
He's a
But
good man.
you know, it's hard.
It's
You know,
hard.
it's a hard process to, you
Ready
know,
tears.
I would love for us to come to a place of peace for sure. I would love that.
Me too.
But at the end of the day, like I don't even want to paint myself like I'm a victim, because I'm not a victim. I'm just hurting that
Me too.
I made a decision that does affect her.
Yes.
And it does
Yes, I'm a homewrecker.
weigh on her. And that's why I would
Hi.
say to any person, any woman, any man,
Say it,
if
sister.
you're highly emotional and you're all over the place and you're going left and right, like even the Bible tells us not to do that. Like that's not the
Yes, sister, quote the Bible. Because I have tears that you don't apparently have with all of that.
place to make decisions.
Yeah.
The Bible says to take a beat and have wise counsel and to go through certain processes
Wise counsel.
before you make decisions. Like there's a way to go about it, you know, and I don't think we think enough about, we're so mad and we're so angry. We're not thinking about how it affects
You
the
were
kids
so
that
mad
are
and
involved.
angry.
We're not thinking about that, you know, and when I was mad, I wasn't thinking about
You wasn't
how
thinking.
like her not having her dad in the house would affect her, and like getting used to seeing a mom on her own when
And the men that you're entertaining on the phone, and the men that you're potentially bringing into the home, and the men that she will meet, who she will associate men with coming and going, like what you did to her daddy, and how she will also learn the practice from you to go ahead and do that and destroy somebody else's son without regret, with those crocodile tears, because I didn't want this for her. He was a liar.
I know the value of having a man and having a man present
Do
in
you?
the house. Because my stepdad was around, and my stepdad is like, and my dad, like, you know, was around, you know, in my life, but he wasn't in the house. But my stepdad was there, and I was able to see how a woman and a man and coming together and that partnership and like having a teammate and all that other stuff, like what that taught me about what it meant for a man to how to treat a woman.
See, she's been poisoned already, because what she learned from her mother is that you can get rid of the biological father, that men are replaceable, and I'll just get a new one. See, your mother never convinced you, or you never saw, and that's a better thing. You never saw your mother alone. You saw her with the man, and you know what? You lose one, you just get another, right? And I'm okay, but ma'am, understand that your daughter has an 800% more likely to be a teen mom because of the decision that you've chosen to make. 8 times more likely to be pregnant by 18 because of your decision. Are there exceptions to the rule? Yes. But does the rule still apply? Yes. She destroyed her home, wrecked that man's finances, and now they have to be extra protective of their daughter, because now we have 3 generations who will grow up with a single mom who chose to date and bring someone else in the home.
Yeah.
But also gave me a man that loved me and loved me in such a way that when I started dating and when I started doing certain things, I had a certain standard already. And
Indeed, you had a standard, and your standard was you can get rid of the biological father because he's expendable and he can be replaced. That's what you learned. Thank you.
that doesn't necessarily mean that she doesn't have that standard, you know, because he's present. But is he as present? I mean, he can't be, you know, because of the nature of what he does.
No, because of the nature of what you did. Because of the nature of what you did. If he were a soldier in war where he has to come back every year or 2 years to see his family, no one would bat an eye. If he has to leave for 30 days to film a movie and come back with $2 million, are you kidding me? But army wives, military wives do it all the time. You can't hold it down for 30 days to film a movie. Heck, he'll fly you out there and the daughter to watch daddy work on the set. You couldn't do that.
Yeah.
And so it's tough. It's tough, man. It's tough being on.
No
tough,
mascara running,
like,
no tears.
trying to do it on your own. You know, he's present, and I'm not going to paint a picture that he's not present and he's doing what he needs to do as far as that's concerned with her. But what I am saying is, regardless, you have a working single mom and a child that's watching her.
$20,000 a month, working single mom.
Do that. And so when you make
month.
that decision, you've got to think about that. You've got to think about how that impacts her. You know, and I think about that every day.
If you could
Here we
like
go. Last
third
clip.
party yourself almost, and like you could be your own therapist,
Sure.
would you at that point would you pretty much tell yourself, if you can go back in time, that you should not make that decision?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not like he wasn't, not at that time, not that fast. Like I would have probably.
No. Okay, let me actually go. Not the marriage.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about more so the divorce.
Oh,
If I could
the
take you back
divorce,
to the
not
divorce,
the beginning part.
not the beginning.
Oh.
If like while you were in that place,
Sure.
if you could then go back and talk to yourself, would you tell yourself to not actually divorce?
Not at that moment, no. Like at that moment, no, I would not. I would, if it was me talking to me in that moment, I'd be like, no, don't.
Now, I'm roasting her pretty hard. And valid. And accurate. But I don't want to lose sight of some of the things that she does say. She made a decision when she was, as she said, livid. He had said something that pushed her emotionally off the edge, and she could not be talked down and consoled. And who she chose to call? She knew who to call. She called an attorney. She didn't say, let me chill for 48 hours. Let me think this over. Let me sleep on it, which I'll recommend many of you do. Let me just sleep on it before I make an emotional decision that can affect the rest of my life. Now, she's comforted with the fact that she has good looks. She has one child. It's still a 9. Well, add the child in, you do Brother Samuels, she drops down to a 7. I'd throw her the 8 with the child, but, because you can't be 7, but I wouldn't go down to a 6. But, there's only a certain level of brother, given that she's getting $20,000 a month from Tyrese, and you got to compete with the baby daddy in terms of income. You got to be a very elite brother to want to take on her. And this is generational, right? Her mom left her father, met a new guy. Here she is, same place as her mother. This is where it's learned at home. I say to you again, no single mothers and no children of single mothers. You would think she would have learned, but she even says she had her epiphany after her divorce. But these women can't lead the manosphere. And she's attempting to be accountable for her action. The way you be accountable is you fix it. And fixing it isn't, if you know so much and you supposedly love him so much and this is so hard, then do the right thing. Do what you would tell your daughter to do when you hurt someone and you didn't mean to. You go back. You preserve that family unit. You bury pride. And you do that. Right? Your hole ain't that deep. Give the man all his money back. All right? She don't look like she's scraping as a hardworking single mom. She got probably a $2,000 weave. I guarantee you that shirt she wearing, you ain't finding it at Marshall's. She living real good with the wedding band tattoo on her finger. We got to pay attention to things, brother. This is we are the level of heightened that's happening with men in terms of the manosphere and paying attention. Unfortunately, most of the men have been damaged in relationships and now are wise to what's going on and they're paying attention. And modern women hate it. They're hating that men are waking up.
Do this. Do you see how you're reacting to this? Like, you're so emotional. I can tell you don't have peace about this. Like, I know that this is not where you're supposed to be right now. Yeah. Like, you give it time, be more patient, like, wait till the dust settles. I definitely would have told me in that moment, no.
This is powerful. And I gotta give respect where it's due. What's missing right now is 20-year-old women who are in relationships and walk out on their marriages. They're not getting counsel from other women. They're not getting wisdom, knowledge from these women because those women are fighting for the same men, right? A man who's 40 years old has got the option of women from 20, if he goes overseas, 18, all the way up to 45, 50, 60. They have that span if you have your stuff together, if you're a survivor of divorce and were able to somehow get your money back up after being gouged, losing your home, your business, your car, your credit. And then you rebuild. That's why women don't want to date single fathers because they know you got destroyed in court. And that's going to affect her ability to get money from you because she wants half. She don't want half of the half, right? So unless you figured out a way to still pay her and rebuild, she ain't going in there as an independent working single mom saying, you know what, I don't need your money. Let's just parent our daughter together. Nah, she taking that $10,000, $20,000 a month. Yeah, that's what she's doing, right? And she's out there dating, as she said in the interview. Again, what is it again? Hardly initiated. She's dating again. And you know what? Absolutely, I'm sure you should be. Because there's men out there who will date you. I just pray those men don't fall into the trap, because she's already shown what she will do one time. And if she does it once, she can do it again. And you will be the one stuck with the newest bill. Divorce is the greatest builder of millionaires of women. A study in 2013 showed that of the 100 female millionaires and billionaires, 98 got it from divorce. Yeah, think about that, brothers. So anyway, that was a great one. She regrets it. She destroyed the home. She's a podcaster in the manosphere, Samantha Lee. Destroyed her family. I appreciate, though, that she gave advice to other women. Don't make emotional decisions. Don't file for divorce when you are not of sound, calm mind. She did it fresh off of him doing something. She said, he said something, and she tore off and called an attorney. That's what she called to counsel. And then 5-6 months later, after I've dragged this man, I cried, I think it over, was this the right thing? You destroyed that man and hurt your daughter. And she may not have the same luck you got. Depending on what weirdo you might bring in the home around my daughter. Yo! And that's something that's unforgivable. You hurt my child because of your decision to destroy this house, and you bring somebody into your bedroom who hurt my child. I don't want to hear no, I'm sorry, let's work this out. Nah. Now you really done messed up. So with that, we're gonna keep it moving, and make sure you pay attention next week, 7:00 Eastern time. Toxic Reality Show. I am your host, Gordon Nathaniel, and we'll be back. God bless.